So what was the Great Depression like?
It was fine.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will see several women criticizing feminism, as well as many of them saying that this movement has lost its meaning. We'll also hear from other women who claim that today's men are not real men, that we have no feelings. I want you to smash that like button and join the channel by subscribing. Add a bit of your love to the movement. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Share your experiences in the comments to guide other men. Without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, so this is how backwards modern feminism is. Modern feminism is undeniably anti-men. Yet at the core, now you have to critically think here, men have never had easier access to a woman's body and her sacred energy. She's wearing almost little to nothing. She's sleeping with any man that looks her way, and she's taking her clothes off wherever the fuck she wants at any given time. This is all being disguised as female empowerment. But what modern women cannot comprehend is that men are not losing here. This is a win-win for men. You have your independence, and now he doesn't have to do anything to win you over. He doesn't have to plan any dates. He doesn't have to put in any effort. He doesn't have to do anything because you're exposing yourself freely in the name of equal opportunity. Please let that sink in. At the end of the day, this whole movement of my body, my choice, I can have sex with 50,000 guys because men can do the same thing, is just a justification for why her standards are so low. Like, modern women have the lowest standards. They don't even exist. And her reasoning for that is because I'm feeling empowered. You know, here we go, fight justice. Girl, no, just say that your standards are really low.
I don't know if you've heard the saying, a key that opens many locks is a master key, but a lock that opens with many keys is useless. It's completely logical in this sense, because what a man values most is a woman who maintains her reputation. Women want to fight for equality, and I believe they've achieved some of that, but what modern women today practice is libertinism. Let's be honest. This doesn't really cause any problems for us men if we just want to have fun. What bothers many women is that afterward, you don't want a commitment with them. The reality is that no man, at least that I know of, wants to be with a woman who has given all her love to the masses. They call this machismo, they compare themselves to us, but the truth is that even they criticize each other. Men honestly don't care what you do with your body. What bothers us is that you live your life, your right to live in libertinism, and then expect a man to offer you a ring, to secure you a long-term financial life, simply because you're an empowered woman. Give me a break.
The only thing a man wants from you is access to your body.
Well, that's a rather dismal outlook, but it does kind of let a person know what types of men some individuals tend to interact with.
You cannot believe how many men have asked me this question: what do women really want?
And that's a very good question. I wonder what the answer is.
They're confused by emotional intimacy and true connection.
Ooh, tell us more what one really thinks about men.
They are wild animals. They wake up and they say, let's go find somebody to date. Dating is about finding an F partner.
Probably shouldn't be painting all men with the same brush, but in case one wasn't aware, usually physical intimacy is part eventually of being in a relationship.
I'm starting to believe that men are literally lower conscious. Like they've never felt love before in their life and they don't know how to. All they know is physical pleasures, which they cannot control.
I'm really beginning to think that some women that make these types of statements are actually just demonstrating projection.
Totally. Many of these women are just projecting their own attitudes. And the worst part is when this comes from someone who, in another video, says she doesn't accept coffee dates and that, from the first week, the man has to pay all her bills. They talk about not being emotional when, in reality, their priorities seem pretty materialistic. But of course, since we're men, the blame always falls on us, right? Look, let's be clear. If you present yourself as a product, you can't be surprised if someone treats you like one. If what you're looking for is for a man to invest his money in you, it's logical to expect some reciprocity in the relationship. But no, it seems like the expectation is for men to act like simps, spending their money just for the pleasure of listening to you talk. You present yourself as the victim of men's instincts when, in reality, you seem to offer nothing beyond the superficial. A true emotional connection goes beyond the material. It's about offering something of value, something you apparently don't know how to provide.
Okay, here is why more and more young women are rejecting feminism and just like do not want to be associated with it at all. I think these younger generations have really, really good BS detectors. So on its face, feminism sounds great, right? Equality for all and girls supporting girls. That sounds so beautiful. But the second you kind of test that out, you very quickly find that it has just become a total facade. If I'm putting on makeup for my husband to come home from work, or if I'm cooking for him, they get upset. They don't like that. Like whoever the head of PR is for feminism needs to be fired. They are doing a horrible job because almost all of their representatives who are outspoken, they just seem so miserable, so hateful, so bitter. It doesn't look fun at all. Nothing about that sounds appealing. I think that's why we're starting to see the like trad wife stuff on TikTok, is because people are so sick of the other side, like so done with the angry, man-hating, like putting women down. Ugh, it's boring, it's old, we're done with it. You don't have to like me, you don't have to like other women on social media. You can call everybody names and be upset, but just don't pretend that you support other women, because you don't, and a lot of people are seeing right through it.
I'm being realistic when I say that the purple-haired movement had its moment of glory because, at its origin, it had a clear purpose. But what we see today seems like a shadow of what it once was, more focused on attacking men than on its original values. And if you notice, it's only leading more women to feel unhappy and alone, hitting the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. The most interesting thing is that they don't look at who's really behind these movements. Big companies, especially those in cosmetics, supermarkets, and pharmaceuticals. And why the wall? Because women are the biggest consumers of these products. Think about it. If you're a woman focused solely on your career, you need to fill the gap that family leaves with something. And often that something is mindless shopping, traveling, or spending on branded clothes. And when they hit their 30s or older, they turn to cosmetic treatments to stay competitive. It's no coincidence that millions of dollars are invested in campaigns where celebrities sell you this idea, brainwashing young women, telling them that this is the path to follow, even if it goes against their own desires to start a family or be mothers. Because, of course, in that aspect, there's no business to be made. At the end of the day, the system benefits more if you keep trying to fill that void with material things.
A lot of men don't romantically love or like women, they just like being physically intimate with women, but their love and respect is always reserved for other men.
What an interesting statement. And precisely what type of conclusion is that supposed to lead to?
To call these men heterosexual is a joke.
Hardly, but I do think I know what the joke here actually is.
Saying these men are straight is absolutely a lie. The people they respect and admire are other men.
I wonder if they're aware that respecting and admiring someone is not the same thing as being physically attracted to them.
They're trying to improve their lives is for other men, such as going to the gym, making more money, or even dating an attractive woman. They do it to get respect from other men. They want that admiration and love from other men, and it's very homoerotic. From
Really?
they want respect, admiration, and what is essentially love. From women, they want submission, intimacy, and a baby.
Ah, there it is.
Is that love to you? Is that a man who likes women? Just because a man engages in physical activity and physical relationships with a woman doesn't mean he likes women or wants a romantic relationship with them. A lot of these men are in denial and they're closeted.
And just because a person talks a lot about a certain subject matter doesn't mean they actually know a thing about it.
A man who strives to be in that top 20% is a man who clearly earns the respect of others, because we all know that to get on a luxury yacht surrounded by women, that guy had to work hard and bring a lot to the table. Meanwhile, the women in that situation are often only required to have a good physique, nothing more. Now, saying that these men don't like women just because they seek intimacy or enjoy that privileged position sounds more like bitterness. Maybe they used you and then let you go, and that's where the frustration kicks in. The reality is that these men are in high demand because, to be honest, many women tend to look for the best available man according to their hypergamous nature. That's why many women are advised to bet on a young guy with potential, the one who's in college striving to go far. Because the truth is, when a man reaches the top, he rarely leaves the woman who stood by him through the whole process. But if he reaches the top single and with money, Do you really think he's going to choose you just because you're pretty? When there are plenty of other women just as attractive looking for the same thing, you have to offer more than just a pretty face. And in this case, it seems like she doesn't have much more to offer.
The role of the masculine man is intensified when he first becomes a father. This is when he really needs to step up. And this is like his role of the masculine man is on steroids, if you like. Think of it if you compare it to the role of a lion in the lion's pride. He oversees now not just the pride or the lands, if you like, but he oversees now his wife as well and his children. So he needs to adjust and really up his level of providing and protecting, particularly in those first few months to a year. Now, this can be tricky to navigate for men, particularly if a conversation is not had between him and his wife to discuss what the dynamics will look like in those first few months to a year. Women often will step into the role of mother fairly easy. I'm not going to say easy, but relatively easy because they've had 9 months to grow the baby, 9 months of their body changing, 9 months of really getting accustomed of what it feels like to have another person already to care for. And while the man is a part of those, 9 months of being pregnant, he is looking on. He is not actually having any bodily changes, if you like, happen during that time of pregnancy. And it is important when you first become parents to get the dynamics in the relationship between the masculine and the feminine right, because this is where, if it's not right at the time, it will often begin to crumble. And we see this happen so often that in the first year to two of becoming parents, families often split up and divorce happens. Now, often the woman will step into the masculine and become more controlling of the household, of, the children, and take more of that role on. And the man will often step back and take more of an onlooker's role. Again, this is not always, but it is quite common that you see that has happened in the past. Now, when this happens, things in the relationship itself between the man and woman, or the two people, will begin to crumble because there's no polarity there anymore and there will be no sexual chemistry. So really, it's the opposite that needs to happen. The man needs to step up and take more of the role of providing and protecting and on-looking, if you like, over the family, leadership over the family, while the woman is able to relax and become more of the nurturer and do, the caring of the children solely and specifically.
This sounds great on paper, but in reality, it's different. When a man is the main provider for his household, he carries a huge burden. He has to work long hours, which often keeps him away from home, while the woman spends more time at home. Plus, nowadays, a man is expected to do it all: provide, help with household chores, take care of the kids, and always be present. But when he tries to lead or set boundaries, that often ends in divorce, leaving him without his family, without money, and without his kids. And the worst part is that many men who always wanted to be active fathers find themselves out of their children's lives, because for some women, it seems easier to opt for child support than to fight for a united family. This is one of the reasons why we see so many American families falling apart and more kids living in poverty, because their mother prioritizes her own happiness over the well-being of her family. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about modern women who are leaving feminism? What do you believe is the main reason why American families struggle to stay together in marriage? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.